Hello, I'm Sophie Bradley-Auckland and I'm currently playing for Sheffield United Women. This is
Macie.
And how old are you, Macie?
4.
4. And this is Harley and he's 11 months old. So first got into football, I was playing for under 10s. However, my dad never let me play football. So I was actually a tennis player all the way till I was 16. But when I was younger, I've got an older brother, and my dad and my mum used to send me on the summer camps. Any half term, I'd be on these summer camps with my brother playing football, and I managed to get my own trial. So I started playing for a local team in Nottingham called Gedlin at the age of 9, which I thought was really late because I was asking my dad for what felt like years to let me play football and he wouldn't let me play. And I guess Leeds was where it all began for me in terms of playing at the higher level. I was selected for England when I was 13, but to me that was just like a dream. I just used to turn up. I didn't really know how much it meant or anything. I just used to turn up knowing I was representing my country to these training camps where you couldn't walk when you used to leave because they were that hard, you felt like at the time. But I'd say definitely Leeds was probably the biggest turning point in my career. So when I was at Leeds, it was then when the league went full-time and professional, and Leeds unfortunately pulled the money out, Leeds Carnegie, so I then moved to Lincoln. So I was at Lincoln for, I can't even remember how many years, because then we moved over to Notts County. Unfortunately, I then got injured, so I was out for 3.5 years, and that's when we had Macie during that spell, because I was out for so long. Then I went to Liverpool. After Liverpool with COVID, had to give that up, had another baby, and now I'm at Sheffield. We had the new addition, Harley, it was nearly a year ago now. That was in the COVID time. I knew that giving up my football, I kind of knew that it wasn't going to be 12 weeks, like everyone said, 12 weeks, we'll stay in and do this. So me and my husband decided that we were going to try for another baby. Luckily we had Harley last March, so we're now a family of 4. Everything's whirlwind, run a care home still, I'm the manager there, and then back playing football as well. Playing football is where it's like an hour and a half for me to just focus on that game and nothing else, like work and the children. So with Macie, I got back playing football 4 months after I had her because that was the timeline I was allowed. And then in terms of Harley, I went to Sheffield, I think he was just over 3 months old. But I was straight back to work after I had the children, and in the care home I can take the children with me. So they've been brought up there, and Macie absolutely loves it now she's older. She thinks she runs the place. I definitely found it easier with Macie. I think when you've only got one child it's probably easier anyway. I did find it easier to get back from Macie, but throughout my pregnancy with Macie I was training and I was running throughout. With Harley I had a low placenta, so I wasn't allowed to, which meant I found it harder to then get back in. And also after having Harley, I had to have an operation on my foot, but I was then pregnant and I couldn't have anything done to solve it whilst I was pregnant. So I then had that done before I went to Sheffield. I don't know, I feel like I've always loved training. So I don't think it was ever a problem. It was just juggling the timings. So I would train either at 5:30 in the morning or like 8:30 at night because it would be around them sleeping. Personally, I was the fittest I'd ever been when I was at Liverpool, and that was after I'd had Macie. And I think people do say you can seem to, once you've been through that pain of labour, you can push yourself through a lot more pain than you could before. And I've always worked really hard and I've always enjoyed the running side of it. That's never been a problem. With Harley, I've definitely found it harder. So I think that's the difference in the fact that I only had 3 months. In that 3 months, I'd had an operation on my foot, which set me back 6 weeks that I wasn't allowed to play or to run, do anything. I lost all my football contracts. So even though I was pregnant, I kept that to myself. I was like early stages, and they'd already, Notts County and the FA had already made the decision that they weren't going to continue with my contract. They didn't know about my situation of being pregnant. I felt like I wanted them to know as me as a player whether they wanted to keep me on. It wasn't my fault that my knee didn't go right with the surgery. So unfortunately I didn't get any maternity throughout. And I just went back to work at the care home. I took Macie in when she was 10 days old and I took Harley in when he was 3 days old. I didn't even opt to take the maternity when I had the choice this time with Harley because of the job that I do. But I think for the girls that are in football, that's their main income. And it's really important that you get that support, because why shouldn't you get that support? You shouldn't have to wait, and you do see it a lot from previous players that I played alongside. They wait till after they finish their career to be able to have children. And for me, there's no prouder moment than stepping out like I did at the weekend and having my 2 children walk out with me. Harley and obviously in my arm, and Macie walk out, and to be playing for them and still playing That's a better feeling than ever playing before. I want to play football, I want to run a care home, I wanted to have children, and I want to be involved in all of that as much as possible. And I don't ever want to have to put my children aside for me to be able to still play football. So I want them to be involved in everything that I do, and even at work. You know, they come to work with me as much as possible. But I think that makes them who they are, and it made me who I was, because that's all I ever knew. Do you know what? I don't put any pressure on Macie in terms of what she wants to do. She loved playing football, and she was the one that asked me to go to play football. She asked me to go, and when I turned up, I was like, they're going to think she can play, and I've been really practicing with her. I mean, Macie can't hardly kick it, you know. She really tries, and I took her and I said to the coach, please, because he knew who I was as soon as I walked in. And I said, oh, please don't think she's going to be really good, because she just wants to come and she wants to play, and just for fun. And that's all I did. And yeah, she really enjoyed it. So my dad bought her football boots for Christmas. She's got the full football kit, the Sheffield kit, obviously, because I'm there now. And yeah, she really enjoys it. And for her, it's just about being with friends and playing the game and showing me what she can do, because she comes to all my games to watch me. So it's really special. But I think it's, whether it be football or any sport, it's just about getting them involved in something that they love to do, because if they love to do it, then they'll enjoy it and they'll probably be the best version of them when they go. Football it's a great time to get involved in football, obviously, in terms of it now being able to be a job, and a very good job at that, whether it be playing, refereeing, coaching, managing, a physio, anything. There's lots of different roles, so it might not necessarily be specifically playing the game, but there's lots of different areas around the game. And I think, you know, it's like, what a great time to be involved in something that's going to be so special and that's just like improving all the time. I feel like I wish I was 10 years younger and doing it all again, but I do feel so privileged to be a part of what's taking place.